What up, y'all? What's good? Hey. Hey. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Oh, man, I'm glad to be back, man. How's everybody doing out there, man? Welcome back. Yup. All right, man, we're gonna get into it in just 1 second, man. How's everybody doing out there? I hope everybody's doing good, man. All right. All right, man. How we doing today? And welcome back to another episode of the Jayson Estrera podcast, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. Now, we got some stuff to cover, man. I feel like a lot has happened since we've last been on here. Was good, Derpy? Was good. But yeah, it's been a little bit, so we definitely got some things to cover. We got some ground to cover today. I hope y'all go enjoy the episode, the show that I got for y'all. But welcome back, man. Welcome back. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope everybody's had a good week so far. Like, why, bro? Like, why? Derpy says, Jayson looking cute. Thank you. The Knicks looking like burnt toast every night since day one. 4 in Mickey Mouse Cup. We're definitely gonna cover that. We got a couple snubs. We got a couple snubs, maybe potentially, that we're gonna be covering today. We got the dubs that we're gonna be talking about today as well. And my ball club, my New York Knicks, haven't looked very good as of late. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been on a little bit of a slide. Hopefully RC get in here for that conversation. He's a mini fan. He's a Timberwolves fan. So we definitely got some things to talk about today. But I think let's start a little bit light. I say we start a little bit light before we get into the middle of this, you know what I'm saying? And I think this is probably a fun spot to start, which is the continuation of this Jaylen Brown, Isaiah Stewart, little I don't know if I'd call it a beef necessarily, but they've gotten into it quite a few times in the last month. So we'll take a look at that, and just so you guys can keep up, this game was last night's game where the Detroit Pistons took down the Boston Celtics. So aside from this little back and forth that we got between Isaiah Stewart and Jaylen Brown, this was actually a very meaningful game. Detroit is still first. Let me pull up the standings right now. Detroit is first. Boston is second. But this game is tough because not only does it add a win for Detroit, but it also adds a loss for Boston, making them, putting them at 5.5 games behind first in the Eastern Conference. Wemby looking like prime Wilt Distilled Chamberlain with a 3-point jumper. We got a lot to talk about with him as well too, making some big plays. But 2 MVP candidates as well. Just so we can paint this picture, right? Detroit has Cade Cunningham. Jaylen Brown has the Boston Celtics have Jaylen Brown. And honestly, two coach of the year candidates, if we're being honest, right? So there's really some storylines behind this, but let's take a look at this. This was about a month ago. This was Detroit in Boston. So let's take a look at this.
Put 2 on Isaiah Stewart. And
that's exactly like that. Jordan Wall played that perfectly.
They were already getting into it. They were already going at it.
We'll try to keep these tempers down. Brown got tangled up.
These still,
they're going to take a look.
And they certainly will. Keep in mind, by the way, Asar Thompson is now 1 for 7 at the free throw line. Here's the tangle and the discard.
Hey, Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown at some point is not going for the ball. He's just trying to stand his ground.
Brown is a beast for taking him on single side.
He going.
Right,
well, this is a guy whose grandpa sparred with some of the most legendary names in boxing history.
He's going
Jaylen
for
Brown
this matchup.
trains as a boxer himself. He is certainly not going to be afraid, but he's got to be careful that he doesn't pick up a technical foul here as he's still talking with the Detroit Brown. The ball be put into play. 5th technical foul on Isaiah Stewart. And when it's all said and done,
I want the slow-mo. I want the slow-mo.
2 technical fouls. And you see Jaylen Brown. he was trying to just imitate some.
So that was a month ago, right? That was a month ago. This is what Jaylen Brown had to say regarding this situation right here.
Describe the situation with Stewart and kind of what went on when y'all was talking. You put up your fist.
We was just having fun. That was it. Just having fun. I think Stewart is a nice guy.
I think Stewart is a nice guy. And then we fast forward. And then we fast forward it to this.
Foot.
To last night's game in Detroit.
Duran turned the corner. Nope. Oh boy, remember the history?
Yes, that's right. Got throat slashing, we got boxing.
Double text last game.
2 guys that will not back down.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, they're just
they're
going
going to review it.
They're
Okay.
going to take a look at this
it.
now, yes.
And I'm all for no double text. Just blame it on one guy.
And it's those 2 once
They
again,
both hold
Stewart and Brown.
They both hold
You got a push off there.
Robbie, I'll let you handle it.
Not the last 2 matchups, but over the last 2 years, take you back. Last time, watch this lower left right here. Extracurricular double technicals.
I don't think they.
Isaiah Stewart grew up boxing. And Jaylen Brown, he didn't.
And this even goes back to a year ago.
One of the best college players when he was at Houston, won the Jerry West Award as the top shooting guard in the country. 6-second split, game clock and shot clock. Holland's got to be careful not to pick up his 3rd, and Brown
Got his ass.
just put beef stew in the rim. The grave digger.
So this goes back. This goes back for sure. Just to paint the picture, paint the timeline. This is something that's been kind of going back and forth for a little while now. And granted, I think probably Isaiah Stewart is the only player in the league who currently has multiple beefs ongoing because he goes at everybody. This Jaylen Brown incident is it's not out of nowhere. This has kind of been going on. I can't wait for Adam Silver to nerf 7-4's Wemby like it's 2K08. They don't. It's kind of like a dumb video game did, and now not fun anymore. I don't know what that means, Derpy. Just finished hours of tape at work, and you got me watching more tape. I mean, at least this is fun. It's Boston. He's trying not to lose his job. Character is everything in Boston. Well, at least the players, fans, and Owens, not so much. What is Owens? I will say, I love this. I really do love this. Because a lot of people feel like the soul of the sport is kind of gone. And it's funny, you just mentioned that, Eli. You know, we can get to the X's and O's. We can get to the skills of the game. But the competitiveness, that adds soul to the game. The emotion, that adds soul to the game. And you know, one way that brings it out, one way to bring that out is physicality, right? There are some players that go away from that, and there's other players that go towards it. Jaylen Brown is clearly a player that goes towards it, and he ain't taking that shit from Isaiah Stewart. And, you know, I got to give Isaiah Stewart credit. He is very consistent. If there is one thing about Isaiah Stewart that I can say is when it comes to these situations, he is consistent. And I think it really helps someone like a Cade Cunningham be able to play straight up basketball, right? If Cade doesn't have Isaiah Stewart on his team, people would be trying to take him out. And, you know, I think Cade Cunningham is a big dude. He cannot only take punishment, but dish out punishment. But having Isaiah Stewart there, teams know this guy is ready to scrap. And I think that allows a lot of freedom for a Cade Cunningham. And one way to counter it is to go at him, because someone like Isaiah Stewart, he's going to lose his cool at some point. And kind of like a Draymond Green, there's that. It's a very fine line, right, between being an enforcer and helping your team versus hurting your team. Because if he gets ejected, foul trouble early, whatever the case might be, it could really put him in a tough situation. Spot on. It's like the Knicks don't have that energy right now. LMAO, where we're listen, man, we gonna get into all of that. But this was actually a very close game. 1 point game. You know, at the end of it. And where is this? Let's see right here. Jaylen Brown with another 30-point game. Not a very good shooting night though. 11 of 28, 2 of 8 from 11 of 28 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3. For 32 points and 11 rebounds. No one else had more than 20. For the Detroit Pistons, Tobias Harris had 25. And Cade Cunningham had a little bit of a quiet game offensively. He also did not shoot the ball very well. 4 of 17 from the field to go along with 14 assists. And honestly, more importantly, I think, right, this is a potential playoff matchup. I think even deeper than this game, the game that they had before, and this Jaylen Brown, Isaiah Stewart situation is these guys could end up playing in the playoffs. And I think that's something that I would love to see. You have a really tough, scrappy team in Detroit. And I think without all of the star power that Boston's had the last couple years, and with Jason Tatum out, they've kind of taken on this scrappy personality that Jaylen Brown has, right? You follow your leader, and he's currently their leader. And they've kind of developed this scrappy game, right? And it'll be really fun to see them in a series because they're probably the only 2 MVP candidates that, I mean, I guess Jalen Duren would have been one, but he's out right now. But they're the only 2 MVP candidates that don't have a legitimate all-star next to them. Right? You know, Jokic, you could always argue Jamal Murray, I think in a few years. Pretty much everyone else has an all-star that's in that MVP race. A legit all-star next to them. Jaylen Brown and Cade Cunningham are the only 2 real exceptions to that. Buc-ee's is wildly overrated. Yes, it's a good gas station, and yes, the barbecue is good, but treating it like adult Disney is OD. I'm convinced. I'm conceived. It's convinced. Everyone only hype it as much because of everyone else does. Because Sheets, Wawa both serve good food too, but people don't lose their mind. Honestly, I think Buc-ee's, to me, Elijah, and I'll go on a tangent with you on this one. Bucky's phenomenal in terms of cleanliness. Like to me, that's the type of shit that, you know, I like that shit. You know, that's the type of shit. I walk into a clean bathroom, I'm like, that's hot. Their bathroom immaculate. I will say there's snacks. They are missing some snacks, but it just looks a lot. It looks so much. It looks like so much. I think the food is good. I don't think it's out of this world. I will say, when it comes to actual food, Wawa's clears. I don't know what Sheetz is. I've never been to a Sheetz, but Wawa's clears Bucky's for sure. When it comes to food, though, those subs are a dub. Those subs are a dub. But what do you guys think? Who do you guys got in a playoff series right now? If Boston and the Detroit Pistons go toe-to-toe in a 7-game series, that to me sounds like a 7-game series. It sounds like a game that will go 7. You know, I think if you are the Detroit Pistons in any series, to be honest, Tobias Harris is going to be a really, really big factor. If he can be a consistent 20-point per game scorer, so that it's not forcing Cade to get the 30s, right? He can get to the 24 to 28 and do what he's got to do and play in that mode. He'll be really big. And for Boston, it's really two guys. When it comes to Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, Derek White hasn't had a great year. It would be very helpful if he was having a better year, but their record hasn't really suffered much, right? I guess if he were playing any better, they'd probably be first or much closer. So, you know, these are two teams where you could bank on the 2 stars, right? You could pretty much bank on the 2 stars. And the wins and losses really comes down to which supporting cast shows up for them on which game. So it sounds like a 7-game series. I think it comes down to who has home court ultimately. And I mean, Jaylen Brown has been unbelievable. So I don't know if I could if I could deny Finals MVP Jaylen Brown, but that's a very close series, man. That's a very close series. Thank you, Jason. You and Eli feel much better. I have no clue in the air. You would like to say Pistons, but Jason, did you get my message on Cord? No, I did. I've not been on Discord. No, I've not been on Discord. Let me see. All right. I thought that was a nice way to kind of start this. All right. I think that was a good start. I think that was a great start for us. I think that was a great little start for us. Now, let's get into it. We got some really big topics to go over today. And I think it's really a perfect place to start with this whole situation going on in Golden State. If I'm being 100% honest with you, right? Where is this game? First of all, what the fuck is this game? Here. Oh, perfect. Elijah, you in here? Perfect. Elijah, you in here? You in here? Cause it's funny. We were just talking about IQ. We was just talking about Emmanuel quickly not that long ago, joking about trading him. but the guy had 40 last night. We're not gonna gloss over the 40 that he had with 10 assists on 84.6% shooting from the field and 87.5% shooting from three. Talk about an unbelievable night. 11 of 11 from the line. It's just he was on fire. He was absolutely on fire. He was. Whatever they got going on in Golden State, he took advantage of it, right? He took full advantage of the situation in Golden State, and honestly, you gotta love. This is a game that I would love to show to up and coming players, right? And I say that because right? Look at these first. Let's take a look at his first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 makes. Let's take a look at his first couple makes, right? Let's take a look at all of his first couple makes. And again, these aren't highlights, right? This isn't gonna make it. They're probably, out of all of the buckets, they'll probably show 2. They might show 2. They might show 3 at most. Because there's really nothing flashy. He's just getting buckets. Thank you. Yes, I worked hard for that 40 and 10. Had to talk on a lot of platforms. Had to play 40 just to motivate my guy. It'd be like that.
Looking for his offense, though.
Trailing 3, sets his feet.
Manuel
Pass.
So 3 for 3 from Toronto to begin. So that is how Toronto historically has always played.
And you gotta love BI, right? He just knows where his guy is gonna be.
Him. And just smothering Curry, who quickly buries another 3. So 10-0 beginning. Steph's going to be in the middle of a lot of them, but Curry missed the layup. So the Warriors,
and he knows BI is looking for him
right now.
Just keep the game simple, y'all. Just keep the game simple. Look at the understanding that they have. He's already looking for the ball. It's obviously, and you modern NBA, right? He got from here to all the way over here without a single dribble. But sets his feet. Great balance, honestly.
Right now.
Puts up a good shot and looking very confident.
Warriors going back to this zone. I mean, they hit him.
And you've already hit a bunch of threes, right? So you got to understand they're looking for that.
But this three-point shooting keeps showing us, and they kept showing it.
Manuel
hits another one.
3. Something manageable at halftime.
And I love this, right? I love this. You've hit a bunch of threes. You could have easily taken this, right? A little step back, a little pull up. But not settling.
Floating it up and in. I mean, they just
not settling. 40 and 10 on 80% shooting is crazy. You were hooping that night. You were hooping. You were for sure hooping. You missed 2 shots all night long. You literally missed 2 shots all night long. So a crazy night out of Emmanuel quickly, but that's really the insult to injury. Literally the insult to injury. So speaking of which, let's take a look at that right now, actually.
His defender kind of had a bad angle to cut him off. He's going.
Jamski working up top with Jimmy. Returns it. Jimmy, what a catch. Butler is holding on to that knee. That did not look good at all.
You don't want to speculate on what it could be, have an idea, but I'm just going to wait. You see the cave in there, and as soon as that happened, you let go of the ball. You can see the pain on his face. He's wincing.
Let me show you guys.
And now you're just saying your prayer. You can't overstate how important he is to the Warriors. He was coming on so strong, too. Having just an amazing season, efficiency-wise.
Fucking a psycho, bro. And so there really is a lot to unpack when it comes to this situation. You see, that's a very different IQ, though. We know he shoot like that every night, but no settling, constant pressure, timely buckets. And, you know, he was just hot. He was just hot. But let's talk about the Warriors, man, because Jimmy Butler ACL injury. This was a team that was, you know, they've been very up and down this season. Right now, they are currently in 8th at 25-20. If we look at their recent schedule, aside from the loss in Toronto, they won 135-112 against Miami, 136-116 Charlotte. They beat my New York Knicks 126-113, 119-97 against Portland. Took a loss in Atlanta, and then, you know, beat Sacramento, beat Milwaukee. You know, so they've been, you know, everything considered, they've been playing much better basketball as of late. Now, granted, some of those teams aren't the best teams in the league, but, you know, when you're building, you got to beat the lower pack teams, right, before you graduate to beating all of the best teams in the league. And they were starting to do that. So to have this injury at a time where it feels like the Warriors were finally finding a little bit of footing, really does suck. It really does suck. And now it leaves. Now that leads us to this Jonathan Kuminga situation, right? Because apparently Jimmy Butler does have a tradable contract. We'll get into the Dunleavy comments where he said that, actually, you know what? Let's just play it. Let's just fucking play it. What's the timestamp right here? Cool. First of all, why he look like in the what's the why he look like the why he look like the Ben Affleck meme? Why Mike Dunleavy look like he going through? Look, he look like the Ben Affleck meme, dog. He deadass look like the Ben Affleck meme. So let's hear what Mike Dunleavy had to say.
But Melton tore his ACL. You ended up trading the contract. How do you envision Jimmy, his contract? He's under contract next year. His rehab and the willingness or non-willingness to potentially move his contract.
I mean, I don't envision that, but now that you brought it up, I guess I'd say what I envision for him is kind of giving us a boost next year the same way he did last year when he arrived. And so, at some point during the season, him returning and being the player he's been. I mean, at his age, what he's doing this year to have the year he's had is impressive. I think he's got a style of game that can play for a long time with his skill, his physicality, his... I
don't think since they're...
So that was his that was his take on whether or not he might potentially trade Jimmy Butler. And so now that brings us to the Jonathan Kuminga situation. So let's hear what Mike Dunleavy had to say about this.
Kuminga's trade demand. How did you take that? And does Jimmy's injury alter the way you're approaching what Kuminga what could happen to him, by the trade deadline?
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as the demand, I'm aware of that. I think when in terms of demands, when you make a demand, there needs to be demand on the market. So we'll see where that unfolds. But Hurd, always with these guys, I tell them I'm willing to work with them. Want to help people out, whether that's JK or any player on a roster. So we're good with, if that's his wishes, trying to figure that out, but we got to do what's best for our organization, and that's what we'll do. And as far as it goes with the deadline coming up, I think we'll take the next couple of weeks to assess this team a little bit more. I felt pretty good with where we're at heading into last night's game in terms of what we need to do. I thought our team was playing really well, heading in the right direction. Obviously, things have changed, so
And I mean, he did demand a trade, Elijah. They can't even move if they want him to. The Warriors are stupid and shot themselves both in the feet. Authentic, so I guess I gotta accept it. It makes me side eye. People are people, so you have a lot. People be who they are, but Jimmy's so casual, like you lagging when your season over. And when he lost his finals, he was too nonchalant. But I do want guys to be authentic, so I guess I gotta accept it. But it makes me side eye. See. I'll put this point blank period when it comes to this Mike Dunleavy situation and those comments on Jonathan Kuminga and his trade demand, which his response is there needs to be a demand on the market, which let's just call it what it is. It's a shot, right? It's a shot. It's one of the many shots that the Warriors organization, not the players, that the organization, Steve Kerr included, have sent at Jonathan Kuminga. Right? They've called him uncoachable. Steve Kerr has had many comments on him on top of the substitution patterns. I mean, goddamn it, they already didn't have Jimmy Butler, and Jonathan Kuminga couldn't start, couldn't see the floor in the first quarter. Like everything points at the organization, and this comment points at an organization. And it, again, I've said it before, you guys know this. I mean, I might have just been early, right? Right? We're never wrong over here. We're just early. I've been pointing at this organization for the last year and a half. I think I was probably one of the first ones on the internet to do it. But they've been moving funny. They've been moving funny. The fact that you guys have shit-talked this guy for the last 3 or 4 years since he's damn near been there is absurd to me. And the constant shots in the media, and to me it comes off as they think they're smarter than us. That to me is the part that starts to get offensive. That's the part where I get offended. Like, they don't think we can understand what they're saying and what they're doing. Like, they're literally pissing on him, pissing on everybody, and telling everyone that it's raining. That's literally what they're doing. And my God, even if this kid did something, at some point, fucking let it go. And I want to bring this up, and I know that Boogie Cousins has a bad rap in the NBA. I'm well aware of that. I'm not an idiot, right? I'm aware of the stigma, the narrative, and people's opinions on DeMarcus Cousins. But I think what he says here is important, and I wanna highlight it.
We've watched him with Team USA find a way to not find minutes for Jayson Tatum. We're talking about Jayson Tatum.
We are, sure.
We swept that under the rug. Draft process with Anthony Edwards. He overlooked the talent. He had every excuse in the book as to why he felt Anthony Edwards wasn't. Same thing with LaMelo. Now we're looking at this Kuminga. It's situation after situation after situation where he's continuing to downplay young talent, and we're now fast forwarding to this situation, and once again we're overlooking it and kind of sweeping it under the rug. Like, something has to be said, something has to be done as far as why do these type situations continue to happen under the watch of Steve Kerr when it comes to young talent. So I just don't like that part of this. I just feel more awareness needs to be more light needs to be shined on the situation, and it shouldn't just be where we're looking at the player.
And I love that, because, again, like I said, you guys could attest to this, right? I've been talking about Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors for the last year and a half, and the way that they have mishandled players and the situations that they're in. It is their own fault why they are in that situation. And honestly, Steph has to have the accountability part to say he's kind of just watched it all happen, right? He's this hands-off, I lead by example. Maybe he doesn't get into the politics of all of that stuff, but as the guy, as the face of that team, you've also kind of allowed it to happen. And DeMarcus Cousins brought up the talent that the Warriors have failed to bring to this team because of Steve Kerr, of his inability to spot it or a fear in developing it. Right? And I've brought this up before. He wasn't the person that developed Klay Thompson and Steph Curry to the best backcourt shooting duo of all time. Did he implement a great offensive scheme and great defensive schemes? Absolutely. Right? He did that part. He spearheaded a championship team year in and year out. Absolutely. But he wasn't the person that nursed this team to where they were right before their championship run. He wasn't the person that got Steph Curry from the ankle injury Steph Curry to MVP Steph Curry, right? He wasn't the one that got Klay Thompson to be the 20 plus point per game scorer, fourth, games. Like, I firmly believe that was Mark Jackson. And whether it's because he was never a great player himself or whatever the case might be, he obviously knows the X's and O's of the game of basketball. But when it comes to greatness, it feels like he just doesn't, that's not where he excels. And everyone in this organization, including Steph, has kind of just watched each other be confident in their weaknesses, right? At some point, someone should have stepped in and said something to Steve Kerr, whether it was Steph or Draymond or something, right? The Kevin Durant situation happened. They made that mistake. They got Jordan Poole. And I'm not saying Jordan Poole would have been a MVP in this league, but damn, he would have been a plus, the Jordan Poole that they had. And the fact that they mishandled that situation, to me, clearly shows that they didn't learn from the first situation with Kevin Durant. And the way that they're handling this Jonathan Kuminga situation clearly shows that they didn't learn from the Jordan Poole situation either. So we got to point the finger to the guys in suits and to Steve Kerr for their inability to handle star caliber talent and to develop them. Honestly, if you look at this team, right, because we were talking about development and developing stars. I mean, who's developed under Steve Kerr? Let's be honest, right? Let's call it what it is, right? Name a player that has developed under Steve Kerr, whose game changed under Steve Kerr. Draymond, we never saw. We never saw Draymond turn into anything other than Draymond. Klay Thompson, as good as Klay Thompson was and is, we never saw him be more on the ball. We never saw him develop his game. No one else on this team has ever developed their game outside of Steph Curry, and I think that was all on him, away from everyone else. So I think all the evidence shows that this is just not Steve Kerr's strong suit, and it's showing. It really is showing, man. It really is. It's everyone there that has piss poor behavior. Dre's the outward expression, but Steve, Steph, Klay, etc. all enable and encourage him. The Warriors culture is turning sour. KD, JP, Kuminga, JT, and I know there's more. I just can't remember. Yeah, I think we're witnessing. Everyone isn't good at everything, right? Like, I think that's what made Greg Popovich so good. We saw players develop under him. different rosters, different whatever. And he was able to create that over time. And I think what we're seeing with Steve Kerr is stubbornness. That is really what it is. It's stubbornness. It's I'm a 4-time champion. It's my way or the highway. We're not changing the way we play. We're not doing anything different. You either fit in or you get out. And I think that's quite literally the bottom line when it comes to this team, and it's showing. It really is showing. But I'm glad people are starting to take notice. Hey man, again, you guys can attest to this. I've been calling out Steve Kerr and this organization. So again, we're never wrong. We're just early. We're never wrong. We are just early. Let's move right along. I think it's honestly probably the perfect time to talk about All-Stars. We got the All-Star selections have come out, and we got to talk about it. Let's see over here. Moody is the closest, but I find it interesting. Rollins leaves and quickly breaks out. See, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. And again, everyone, I think the reality of it too, right, Elijah? Kind of like players. We almost expect perfection, right? We expect players, teams, coaches, if you're good at everything. And clearly that's not the case, right? This doesn't mean that Steve Kerr is not a championship coach. This doesn't mean that he doesn't have what it takes to coach a really good roster, a really good group of talented players to a championship. But also it does show that maybe he wouldn't have been able to do what Mark Jackson was able to do with this team, right? What Mark Jackson lacked, which was maybe a championship level way of thinking, when it comes to the group and the talent, he was able to develop these guys, and Steve Kerr was able to take them to the top. But if the roles were flipped, would they have been able to do it? And I think that's a big question mark. So, all right, moving right along. Speaking of the Warriors, Steph Curry is a starter. He's a starter in the All-Star game. It's Steph Curry, the Western Conference starters. Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, Victor Wembanyama, and Nikola Jokic. For the Eastern Conference All-Stars, the starters are Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So those are the starters. Those are the starters for this team. Now, this is USA versus world kind of thing, right? Am I faded for that? Isn't that what they're doing this year? So with this, it would be Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Cade Cunningham, Steph Curry, and Jaylen Brown versus Shai, Luka, Giannis, Wemby, and Jokic, which is an absurd lineup. So, kind of like every year, the big talking point when it comes to the All-Star starters are the snubs, right? The snubs are always a big topic of conversation. Anthony Edwards is not a starter. LeBron is not a starter. Kevin Durant is not a starter. If you look for the East, Donovan Mitchell was the notable name that's not a starter. And so are there snubs? I'll be honest with you. I don't know how Steph Curry got in over Anthony Edwards. Like, listen, man, Steph is Steph. There is no... I don't think whatever happens from here on out, right? Whatever happens from here on out, I don't think that changes where you put Steph Curry, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it changes anything. However, currently speaking, in this season, Anthony Edwards is a starter. He just had 55 the other night, hit game winners, has led this team. He's a starter. He's a starter for sure. Denny Advia is a good shout also. He's been incredible this year. KD. I think LeBron he definitely has a case. But more of a case than Anthony Edwards, I do not think so. I don't think so. Now, the big one in the East is Donovan Mitchell, right? And I think the only real contention for him is Tyrese Maxey, and that comes down to the team performance, right? That comes down to the team performance because, well, actually, now it doesn't. Philly's 5th and Cleveland 7th. But, you know, earlier in the season, Cleveland was ahead, but the Sixers are overperforming, right? Versus the Cavaliers who are underperforming. And so I think even though you could maybe make a case for Tyrese Maxey, I think aside from just the games and the stats, I think Tyrese Maxey has just looked super impressive. The games that he's had where he's gone nuclear this year looks crazy. It looks crazy. But I think Jalen Brunson's had a great year leading his team again. Jaylen Brown, Cade Cunningham, MVP candidates. Giannis is just always Giannis. I think you can never... As bad as they played, Giannis is still Giannis, and that's just that. And that's just the bottom line. That's just the bottom line. So a couple, you know, there's really one big snub in my opinion, which is just the Anthony Edwards for Steph Curry. Steph Curry's had a good season. I don't think he's had a better season than Anthony Edwards. So that was really the only big one. That was really the only big here. Let me see this. Full starters voting result for US versus world competition. All right, let me see the lineup here. All right, now to kind of piggyback off of this, LeBron potentially being not being an all-star starter after 21 consecutive years. The really big news is this story with Jeannie Buss. So this came out, I think, yesterday. Out of the blue, really. So let's take a look at this together. Jeannie Buss has completely turned on LeBron James and his outsized ego, reports say. The governor doesn't approve of the king. Lakers owner Jeannie Buss soured on superstar LeBron James, privately complaining about his outsized ego and the control that he and his agency, Clutch Sports, allegedly have over the storied franchise, sources tell ESPN in a bombshell report published Wednesday. Buss 64 reportedly believed that James lacked accountability, including with his deflection of blame regarding the unsuccessful Russell Westbrook trade prior to the 2021-2022 season. James is in his 8th and perhaps final season with the Lakers after joining the franchise in a seismic move ahead of the 2018-19 season. His decision to head west galvanized a proud franchise that had missed the playoffs in 5 straight seasons before his arrival. The Lakers missed the playoffs in his first season before winning their 18th championship in 2020 during the bubble campaign. Where is it? Here. The 2021-22 campaign did not help the relationship since that marked Westbrook's arrival. While the idea of the two of the best players of the 2010s teaming up seemed like it could have a potential, the Lakers instead flopped with a 33-49 record that kept them out of the playoffs. The Lakers reportedly made that trade to placate James, but after it blew up, Buss felt the superstar didn't acknowledge his role in the transaction. Buss's views on James dived to the point that she even considered trading him during the 2022 season after failing to give him a contract extension. Per ESPN, she reportedly later felt slighted by James's response after the franchise drafted his son, Bronny, in the second round of the 2024 NBA draft in a questionable move. Folks close to the organization told ESPN that Buss felt LeBron should have been grateful for what the franchise did, which ultimately allowed the duo to become the first father and son to play alongside one another in league history. Now, I did want to bring this up as well too, because again, I don't think this is a coincidence. Hold on. Hold on. Hold up. Where is this? Was it this one? Fuck. Hold on, where the fuck does this shit go? All right, let me find this real quick, because again, I don't think that this is a little coincidence right here.
Probably be targeting the Memphis Grizzlies as a trade partner for Jaren Jackson.
For whom?
But this comes with a
Austin Reeves.
This comes with a very unemotional attachment because Austin is beloved, which he should be.
But he's about to get paid.
He's an underdog. There's a world where you can do what's best for your team and do what's best for Austin.
So Rich Paul has a vendetta against Austin.
So again, a agent talking about potential trades is out of pocket. like that's out of pocket. Right? That's really out of pocket, because players are supposed to be the dumb ones, right? Which is how the media likes to portray it. The players are the idiots, right? That didn't finish school, and they're not stupid enough to talk about trades in media. They react to them, but not about their own teammates, like people on their team. That's absurd. And so this was last week when this came out. I don't think it's an accident that all of a sudden we get the Genie Bus comment. And not to mention, it's also right around the time LeBron isn't announced as a starter in that 2026 NBA All-Star game. It feels like the LeBron James camp, because Rich Paul has been saying a lot of things lately. It seems like they're scrambling for control. For control that they didn't have, right? If you look at LA, LeBron has said many times that it's Luka. The league, understandably so, is trying to move on with the next crop of players, whether it's a Anthony Edwards or a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or a Jalen Brunson or whoever. they are making a concerted effort to move on. And, you know, these Genie Bus comments, again, I don't think they're coming out of nowhere. I think, you know, this brings me back to the Stephen A beef of calling LeBron a backstabber. He's not a good person. Again, saying that conversation, that misunderstanding or beef or whatever you want to call it that they had was about LeBron, not about Bronny James. And I think it's funny, I just said it a couple weeks ago. I think LeBron played one season too many. If he would have retired last summer, none of this would have happened. Right? If he retired last summer, the reports of Genie Bus not liking him would have never came out, because it would have looked really bad on them. Him not being a starter would have never came out. A couple of these things, you know, if Rich Paul would have made those comments, but LeBron's not there, it might have. It still looks bad, but it doesn't look as bad. And so now I think it puts LeBron in this really weird spot where, unfortunately, he's tarnishing his own career at this point. And I think he's obviously had a hand in that. I'm not saying Genie Bus is a saint in this situation. We know how owners could be. But this really feels like the NBA is trying to phase out of the LeBron James era, and Genie Bus is trying to do the same thing. And if we're to believe some of these reports about LeBron, he is frantically trying to gain power and control of the situation. You know, he's a control freak. That's how he is as a basketball player. But I think he's just not in a position to be doing what he used to be doing when he was at the top of this game and at the top of the league. So weird stuff going on in LA. Very, very weird stuff going on in LA. Now, where is this? Alrighty. Where is this? I mean, this was a wild game. This was a wild game that they had between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the San Antonio Spurs, who've had some really great games as of late. Anthony Edwards hit a game winner, and now for the Spurs, Keldon Johnson hits a game winner, essentially to win this game. And unbelievable game. They spoiled Anthony Edwards' 55-point performance. Unbelievable night. Unbelievable night of shooting for Anthony Edwards. I mean, the guy was just he was just something else. He was something else in this game. Especially in the fourth quarter, where he had 26 of his 55 points in the fourth quarter. And he was making clutch shot after clutch shot. I mean, this guy was insane. Let's take a look at this right here.
Fox into the backcourt. Edwards rising again and hitting again.
So right now, the only thing you can do.
This guy was, he was just in a different zone. I think this is such a big difference to his game. We've seen him hit middies before, but we're seeing the patience in the mid-range area, which I think is a real sign of comfort. Gathering himself. Still a tough shot, but he makes it look real easy.
48 points, their first lead.
I mean, Edwards. Oh my God.
And he's got 51 points. Conley. Edwards against Fox, checks his feet, fades, and he hits a three.
I mean, just an absolutely insane game out of Anthony Edwards. And, you know, again, I think what we're seeing is really the development of his game. That's really what we're seeing ultimately, is the development of his game. And, you know, from one young star to another, I did want to highlight Wembanyama as well, too, because he hit some unbelievable shots in this game as well. Let's take a look at his 4 field goals in the fourth quarter together, y'all.
Wembanyama got Baron J up and drop.
I mean, you could talk about the stats, but this is allowed at this point. His mid-range is improving, so you now have to really play him for this shot, and he can rise over anyone.
Wembanyama got
So
Baron J
the
up
understanding.
and drives right past him. Wee.
Excellent footwork.
No.
Taking advantage of Dante. I've been saying this for the last year. If you put him at the free throw line, he becomes impossible to guard because he has a kick out anywhere. You cannot help him. Even if it's Dante DiVincenzo on him, you pretty much have to leave him one-on-one.
Wembanyama, quick fire over Randall. Yes!
But catch. Look at the footwork.
Quick
Shot.
fire over Randall. Yes! It drops.
This next 3 was right after the Anthony Edwards 3 on him. So he sprinted back down over here and was looking for the 3.
He just got to get it out of his hands.
Wembanyama, the response! The game's greatest players going back and forth in the Alamo.
It's why you love him, because he's always confident, always taking the open shot when it comes to him. Wembanyama topper.
So I mean, we're seeing we're seeing right before our eyes. You know, we were talking about Anthony Edwards and the development of his game. We're seeing Wemby take a lot more middies, and really doing a much better job of that. And we got to take a look at this as well, bro. What the fuck? That's a travel. I don't care if any of all these guys do that step through. That shit is a travel. We got to play basketball again. That's frustrating. That's not even a ball move. I mean, it is nowadays. It is nowadays. For the lack of strength for Wemby, I got to give him credit for this offensive rebound.
Missed the second. Wembanyama got the offensive rebound. He runs away from Edwards.
Absolutely stole it. But also, we got to bring up this because this is a great block, and I think this is what makes him such a great defensive player right here.
Randall.
Because he gets caught on the steal. He's out of position, right? He's going to body him up right here, right? But what we see a lot of people do is they'll body up and stay squared, right? You see he hip checks him, but he also turns in the process knowing he's going to try to contest the shot and gets the block. I mean, you could call it height. That was a very calculated move, and just a phenomenal job by all of these star players, by all of these star players. Wemby had 39 in this game, 2 blocks, 3 assists, 9 rebounds. But again, a little losing skid for Minnesota. My New York Knicks are in the same boat. We're on a 4-game losing streak. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Let me take a look at the standings. I think we've lost like 4 of our last 4 in our last 10 games, or we've only won 4 in our last 10 or something like that. 2-8 in our last 10. So that's not good at all. If you're Minnesota, you know, you're on a 3-game losing streak, but they're all really close. That game they had an opportunity to win. They've had an opportunity to win all of those games. And I think it just really comes down to executing, which they kind of were. If we're being honest, Dante hit some big shots in the corner in that game. Anthony Edwards was obviously hitting shots at the end of that game. But it really is trying to tighten up their defense, making sure that the other team isn't getting good shots. Wemby got some really good looks down the stretch of that game. Keldon Johnson, who hit the game-winning three, got a really good look for three. So they're offensively, I think they're fine, if I'm being 100% honest, when it comes to the Minnesota Timberwolves. You have a guy who's developing his fourth quarter game, and he's doing a really great job of it. He shoots efficient from three. The tools are there offensively in the fourth quarter. It's really just locking down on defense, and I think they'll be able to fix that right up. We've seen some of these teams go on 3-game losing streaks and then go on a 4-game winning streak, and it's as if it didn't happen. So that's very possible for these guys. Now, for my New York Knicks, we're third, 25-18. We're lost 4 in a row, 2-8 in our last 10. It really hasn't been good. And, every time I watch a Knicks game, they're gassing up Mitchell Robinson, and I get it. He's the best offensive rebounder in the league right now. But the motherfucker plays like 10 minutes a game. As good as he is on defense, he can't play 30 minutes. He's injured all the time. A lot of question marks with that. OG Anunoby's in and out of games. And so it puts a lot of stress and strain on Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and Karl Anthony Towns. Our defense sucks, man. Like, there's really no other way to put it. When OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are both on the floor, our wing defense can be very good. The problem is we don't have anyone to protect the paint, because those guys play so hard on defense. It could at times, put them out of position. They're going for steals, going for blocks. They're all over the floor. They're disruptive, but you can try to take advantage of that. And when you get past them, you have Karl, I'm gonna foul you, Anthony Towns behind them, and that's just not. It's just not an ideal situation if you're the Knicks. They're gonna pick on Jalen Brunson. They're gonna pick on Karl Anthony Towns, which now forces one of your defensive players to go and help, and it puts our defense in a constant state of stress. If I'm being 100% honest. We've talked about it with the Lakers. It's bad enough to have one liability on the floor on defense. You can't have two. And especially as of late, we're seeing Karl Anthony Towns. He's not been getting the 12, 15 rebounds that he was getting last season. This is becoming a serious problem. And what ultimately happens is, when the game becomes like this and we're just not able to do our thing on defense, our offense that can be very stagnant at times becomes the Jalen Brunson offense. And everyone likes to kind of blame him for it. They all give him the fucking ball. Everyone starts freaking the fuck out and they give Jalen Brunson the ball and get the fuck out the way. It's not necessarily his fault. And so now he's forced to try to create, and he's forcing up bad shots, getting turnovers, and the whole 9 yards. I know they've fielded some conversations about Karl Anthony Towns. I think we need to get off of Mitchell Robinson and get a big that could play for us full time. and maybe move off of Karl Anthony Towns if there's a path to improve over there. But we just need guys that are going to play. And right now, bodies are going down. Our defense is really taking a hit, which is now putting all of the stress on our offense, a.k.a. Jalen Brunson. And as great as he is, it's a lot to ask out of someone that's like 6'1". It's a lot. It's a lot. And he's someone that's very streaky from the three-point line. You know, when we get down, he starts taking a bunch of those unnecessary threes. All of their tendencies snowballs. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. And I think it's really starting from our defense, which is starting from a lack of a big to kind of go with Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns being how he is on defense, and then Mitchell Robinson playing like 10 fucking minutes a night. So it's a bunch of things going on right now, but it's leading to our bad play as of late. And I had already called this out. Again, we're never wrong. We're just early. Adam Bona, who else would you go for, you think? I don't know. That's the hard part. Who are we gonna get? Jaren, I get 6 rebounds a game. Jackson Jr. Like, I don't know who the fuck we would go for. Bam Adebayo, even if we get a great Bam Adebayo, the motherfucker is 6'9". Like, he Luka height. I mean, like, I don't know. I truly do not know. You know, our best bet probably would have been in OKC, which was to re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, but didn't fucking do that. You know what I'm saying? Didn't do that. Dante DiVincenzo gave you a great shooting and defense. He's gone. I don't know, bro. But it seems like we're kind of fucked right now. If I'm being 100% honest, if I'm keeping it a buck. But yeah, that's my take on my New York Knicks and our struggles, and Minnesota Timberwolves and their struggles. Damn, an hour 16. But hey, check this out. That is gonna do it for me for today. That's gonna do it for me for today, man. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, Isaiah leaving hurt real bad. Real bad. I think they were kind of banking on Mitchell Robinson, you know, being healthy, and that just hasn't been the case. I don't think we could do it, but like maybe a Jared Allen would help a lot. But I highly doubt we could get him. Shit, I don't know. But hey, man, I'll go be sad in the corner with my New York Knicks playing the way that they've been. So I'll be having my Yankees hat, not my Knicks hat on. But thank you guys so much as always. Elijah, you're the GOAT. Eli, you're the GOAT. Derpy, you are the GOAT. Thank you guys, man. I appreciate y'all so much. Before I get out of here, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We aren't going to do a show on Friday, but I'll see you guys here tomorrow. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate you for that. So thank you so much. I'll see y'all tomorrow.